Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
I love that. You mentioned something a little bit ago about going from an ultra successful season to a tougher one. Now, coming in late, that's always going to be challenging, especially with today's college climate of players and who's still available and can we field the team, who's left. But how did it affect your confidence throughout that year? And what did you do to, almost like we have to tell players to do, to protect your confidence?
Right. It was such a season of highs and lows. We got up to 17 in the country. We were beating the team that won the national championship, Trinity Valley, for 30 minutes. And then our first conference game, one of our guys before that game, the player, I said, hey, you're playing analytically, you're one of our highest players offensively and defensively. When you're tired, you tell me, that's when you're getting your rest. He goes out first conference game. And then the leading rebounder in the conference breaks his wrist. And so like by the end of the conference season, I thought I had it all figured out. And I thought I was going to come in the best conference in the country, junior college wise, and we're going to win and we're going to go to Hutch and we're going to do all this stuff. But that wasn't the case. And so I feel like I figured out offensively and defensively a little bit more. I just unfolded some layers that have truly helped us so far to start our season that I'm thankful that I went through as a coach. And you can either look at it positively or you can look at it negatively. And I feel like me and my assistant truly try to dive in and figure out what we could have done better, and then how can we adapt things for the next season. And we even put those things in the second half of conference. And so when we started practicing early on, we already started statting all that stuff with all the players, showing them film and everything. And so it was a huge benefit for me as a coach, and I couldn't be more thankful.
Your approach to that, I think, is really impressive and something that I need to remember from season to season. I think nothing humbles you more than like losing, but also when those injuries happen and when we know that it's players, we know that. But then we don't always realize it or see it until a couple of our best go down and you're like, oh, wow, we're different. We're not the same. But I thought it was a great example of you could fake it in those moments when things are tough and just try to say, hey, guys, we're still moving along in a good direction and try to stay positive, which I agree with that. Or you can face it. And I think it's good for our players to face it instead of faking it. But I think as coaches, we need to do that too. We need to face it when times are tough, and instead of making excuses like you did, pivot. And I think, like you said, man, I think that's when we get better. And it's just incredible that you're able to do that. How did the rest of it turn out after you made the change?
Yeah, so we ended up beating the preseason number 1 and 2 teams in the country. But that doesn't mean we didn't get beat bad a couple games too. But, we just statted a lot of different stuff. Like, hey, in the first half, we only got like 3 or 4 paint touch passes. Like, we're just not moving the basketball. We had like another stat offensively is field goal attempts with 3 to 5 people on us. And so that showed a lot of different stuff. And then I was talking to Liberty University the other day, and we were talking about analytics, and we even go deeper into the paint touches. Like, we have level 1, level 2, level 3. So like if you touch the elbow, that's level 1. Those kickouts, those are kind of easy closeouts,
Or
but
closeouts.
yeah. And if you get level 3, I mean, those are high percentage shots. So then we started looking at all that stuff, and we were really able to get everybody on the same page, even though we were down some of our best players. If we do this more, we get more of these. Doesn't matter who we play, we can beat anybody. And it showed that we beat South Plains and Howard, and we were down pretty bad.
The field goals attempted with 3 to 5 people. Can you go a little bit deeper into that?
Yes, sir. So say I pump fake and I drive and I get 3 people to come help. Someone's wide open. And so if you shoot that shot, that's a negative on our statistics. And so you want to get a level 3 paint touch from that and a kick out and a pass. And those are extremely high positive points for our analytics system that we use. And so it shows who's playing together. It shows who's not getting off the ball very much. So then the players kind of chime in too, and they'll tell each other, hey, you've got to get off the basketball. We get a paint touch, kick out, and someone goes and closes out. You typically have a one more. Like in practice and film, we run big time if they don't make that extra one more.
That's a good reminder right there. It's like what Coach Huggins used to say. One of my buddies at a TABC clinic said, Coach, how do you get your guys to play so hard at West Virginia? And he just said, treadmill. One word, treadmill. I think a challenge always is we want players to create for themselves, but then we also want them to create for others. So you kind of have both of those tracks going on at the same time. I think that's a great way to show that somebody is not creating for others when they draw that much attention to themselves, when they have that much gravity. How do you create that culture or system where guys are just as excited to create for another as they are to create for themselves?
Yeah. There's 2 things that really we go into, and it is hard sometimes constantly asking, our point guards like, hey, you're coming off ball screen, get in the paint and get kickouts. So I always find clips that show them getting back the basketball and then scoring or hitting a 3. And it happens a lot more than you would think if someone just was trying to implement this, because you do get a lot of paint touch kickouts and then one more and it typically will go back to that player that passed it. And so that gets super highlighted when we watch film.
Great point right there is highlighting the things that you want to see, because I think how do we get them to trust what we're saying? You could tell that player, hey, I believe it'll come back to you. Just keep trusting what we're doing. Keep trusting, but show him. Literally bring him in and say, listen, this is what we're talking about. You just did it. And then you popped off or the ball came back to you. I think sometimes, not that they intentionally have selective amnesia with what they're thinking about. It's, you played, you don't see everything the same way as a coach. You don't see everything correctly as a player. Sometimes your vision and how you feel is very limited. So for you to be able to not just tell them, but show them, I think that's big. And that could go for anything that we're talking about on the floor, right?
Yeah, I'm absolutely. And, their shooting percentages go up too. I mean, you just look like a better basketball player. Your assist turnover ratio. I mean, and it's hard at a junior college because everyone's trying to get out. We get a lot of transfers. We get a lot
Good
of
point.
guys that can qualify and go Division I, Division II NAI after 1 year. And so I don't know if we didn't show them the analytics system and the film and constantly trying to help them and teach them. I feel like if I was just on the court preaching it, I feel like I would be fighting a never-ending battle with some players. And so I think you have to do it multiple ways, and it's going to help. Like you said, you got to teach it, you got to draw it, you can show them multiple ways. And so we try to do it even with our offense and analytics so that everybody understands it. We'll print out the analytics stuff too and give it to them. I'll show it before film. I'll put it in the locker room. Like they're seeing it multiple times. And so they get highlighted big time.
Can't escape it. And then I would imagine too, you're not just highlighting or bringing up like those 3 to 5s, right? When 3 or 5 people, but also I think a good strategy, and it's kind of what was the Seahawks coach? He's there for a long time.
Pete Carroll?
Yeah. What Pete Carroll would do is after a win or a loss, they come back in and there's highlights going. I think us really searching for it. In my mind, I don't know if you're the same way. In my mind, when I'm in the gym, it's just like programmed to look for negative. Who's not bringing spirit? Who's not hustling? Who has the wrong stuff on today? Who still has their earrings in? Who's not after they miss a shot? Who's drooping? But PGC helped me, and I think we need to change our lens and look for the good things that are happening and celebrate that, and then hope that starts to rub off. Because I think naturally players are pleasers. I don't know about you. I've rarely seen he's a punk. He wants nothing to do with this. There's usually something deeper there. In your one-on-one meetings, you probably get to it, or in their journal writing, you get to it. But I think if we're celebrating those things that are good, then it's probably going to rub off. More is caught than taught anyway. And I think that's a good way.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point with what you said, because coaches, it's very easy, like after watching film or you lose a game or you win a game barely that you feel like you should have done better on, it's so easy to come in there negative, 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 but then you want them to be positive and being energetic and high five. I catch myself doing it too. Like, I feel like yesterday we didn't play very good. And I came in there and I'm teaching them, even though I'm frustrated, I had to remind them, like, I'm not just being this way to be this way. Like, I'm trying to teach you guys. There are positivities from this. Y'all need to see them, but we got to fix this stuff too. And so I couldn't agree with you more.
And I love that. I immediately thought of Will Ferrell in Old School when he comes into the locker room in his whitey tighties and they're in that competition and he's yelling. What Luke Wilson's character is saying it really calmly, like, "Hey guys, we're on the right track. Let's just keep focusing. We got this." And Will Ferrell grabs a chair and starts saying, "We've come too far. We can't leave or lose our composure." And he's screaming and yelling. I thought to myself, how often am I that? I come into a timeout, calm down. What are you? And I am just what I'm saying is completely the opposite of what I'm showing. And that's when my beautiful bride comes to me after the game and goes, "Your face," when you were talking to them. But we whatever we want them to be doing. If we're not, I just think that message is pretty hollow, right?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of, it's just hard because you want them to be a certain way, but then you have to look at yourself as a coach too. And I catch myself more that I'm older, when I was very young in the business, why aren't they doing what I'm saying? I don't understand it. They just need to listen to me. It's so much more than that. And like for our team goal is, how can you get your teammates to love you? And I even have that for myself. Like, how can I get this player or the whole team, how can I get them to love me? If I'm asking the team to love each other and find a way to be loved by each other, I have to have that same standard for myself.
Great question. What are other ways as a coach that you feel like you can, obviously I get the teammates loving each other, but that going from you to them to you?
Yeah, I try to be a very transparent person. I'm a believer in Christ. I read every day. When I go walk into financial aid or go to the cafeteria, I try to say hi to everybody and be a good person. And so I want my players to know that coach is walking what he's telling us to do. He's not just sitting in his office and getting on to us when he comes into practice. And so, I try to be a reflection for our players and someone they can look up to on a daily basis.
I think that authenticity thing that you said is perfect. You nailed it. I know that I am. I'm pretty corny, I think. My guys, a lot of the things that I say and do, they tolerate it, but they know, I think, that my heart's in the right place. But I think authenticity is inspiring and your faith enables you to do that. What are some of the challenges at times with trying to show up as your authentic self?
Yeah, everyone has bad days, and so it doesn't matter who you are, what profession you're in, you're going to have a bad day. Someone's going to upset you, a player. And so, if I ever get in a bad mood or something like that, I try to just stand up and start walking around, because I know I'm going to say hi to someone and I'm going to put a smile on my face. And so that's always a quick reminder. And, I invite my players always to come to my office, come say hi. So they're typically in here and I enjoy when they come in here and stuff like that. So I always enjoy seeing them. It always cheers me up.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.